Hey everyone, good to see you. I have not had anyone jump on to ask questions, but I did have 6 questions that were texted to me, so I'm just going to run through those. So, first, I want to talk about what you're seeing on your screen, the overview of test number 2. It's on Blackboard, and I think you'll find it there in the information on test 2 folder. One mistake I caught on it is that I was separating out the Where Are They Now videos and putting them at the bottom, and it looks like I still left Hunter Pool listed under week 14. As long as you do the LinkedIn article, you are not responsible for knowing the content of any of the 4 videos, including Hunter's, in terms of the test. So you can handle all of that just by doing one simple LinkedIn article and posting it by Sunday. So you have your classmate, Robert Still, to thank for that because he talked through some challenges with studying all those videos for the test when they're so different than what you're used to looking at. So just to make sure we're clear on it, on the bottom of the screen, it shows the Where Are They Now interviews, and you can choose to just do one LinkedIn article that covers 5+ learnings from my previous students. You need to specifically mention at least 2 of the students that were this round. So Amber, Hunter, Jennifer, or Ben Rector. And then you just post that by Sunday. And when it comes to the test, you just automatically have the 20 points of questions that are on that. So that is information on the test. If you look at this, some of these, I think the material is really split up into 3 pieces if we move out the Where Are They Now and assume that most of you are going to do that LinkedIn article. So that leaves the bigger articles that are really about concepts and themes and theories. And that would be things like Shopper's Journey, the Why We Buy, Future of Retail, let me see, Bezos Letter, Pandemic Shopper, and 5 Pillars of Shopper Marketing. Those were really more about concepts. And if I were taking the test, that's where I'd start, is studying those. Then that leaves you with a second group of articles, which is really all the examples, how this comes to life for Orbit, Walgreens. We've got Lady Gaga and Oreo, Sam's Club sampling, TikTok, Instagram, etc. So that's kind of all the application bucket of articles. And most of those are very short, 1 to 2 page. And then your third bucket of material is looking back through the slides. So I've put specifically on the test the slides that we will be covering, and you can find those. It's the same format as always, some multiple choice, and then probably 6 short answers. But again, you can wipe out some of those short answers on the Where Are They Now if you have done the LinkedIn article. So I'm going to stop sharing that and just cover a couple other key things. The second question I got is, how does a CEA student know when they're supposed to take the test? I'm going to go with the same time that it was last time and set it up. After I have the test set up, which will probably be, I would guess, maybe Saturday or Sunday, then I'll send a text through the Remind system to the CEA students just saying, this is the time you took the test last time, and do you want any changes? So just look for that. Okay, number 3, remember that the thought leaders are not on this test. So we covered these thought leaders that are not going to be on the test: Debbie Millman, Malcolm Gladwell, Kareem Rashid, Seth Godin. And at the time that we did it, I said, we're not going to discuss these on the test. It's just kind of for your general knowledge, but you are going to still see them in the slides because I'm not going back and changing the slide decks. That's not really an efficient use of time. So just know that when you get to those slides, I think they're on 2 or 3 different slide decks, kind of waiting till we had time to cover them in class. Just remember that you don't need to know those for this test. Let me see what else. I had a student text me and ask if I could walk through the toothpaste example from week 9 and also talk about Unilever's trip types. This was referenced in Amber King's discussion, and then we talked about it in class in week 9. So let me do the trip types first, and then I'll walk through the slides. So the trip types were Unilever's way of kind of entering the shopper marketing discussion. We had Mars and Saatchi X who were out there getting a lot of attention, and Unilever wanted to stake their ground. So what they did is they did a huge study on kind of the mindset of consumers as they go in a retailer. And they said that in their study, they found they focused on grocery, and they found that consumers have three mindsets. One is a quick trip, the second is a fill in, and the third is a stock up. I bet you have done each of these kinds of trips in the last calendar year. So, a quick trip means that you really need to just get a few things to get you through the night or get you through a meal. So, maybe you're out of toothpaste, out of bread, out of some basic thing that you're going to eat for that meal. Then you're just going to go into a store, grab those things, and leave. So it's a very short shopping trip. And I doubt that any of you would go to, say, a Sam's Club to do that, because who wants to park in a Sam's Club, navigate the parking lot, go in, get something in the midst of that crowd only for two or three items? Okay, this another kind of quick trip. We have the quick trip. Another kind of trip is called a stock up. A stock up is what you do when your mom's in town. Is you go to Walmart or Sam's Club and you get a ton of things that are going to get you through multiple weeks. It's usually more things in your basket, more time spent in store, a higher basket ring. And just like I said, you're not going to do a quick trip at a Walmart or a Sam's Club. You're probably not going to do a stock up trip at a Walgreens. You're going to go where you have tons of product choices and you can really get everything that's on your list. So if we have quick trip at one side and stock up at the other, in between is the fill in trip. Fill in means that you're going to get things for more than just one night or one day, but it's not really this massive stock up. It's really just that in between trip. I'd probably guess that most of your trips are that in between. You're buying things to get you through a week of groceries, a week of meals. And so your basket ring is bigger than a quick trip, smaller than a stock up. And really, you might go to any kind of store for that, depending on what it is that you're buying. So those are the trip types. And I think that leaves me with just one last request. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the slides from week 9, and we will just go through those. Okay, so in week 9, we're looking at the shopper's journey. Now, if you do the LinkedIn article, you can take Amber King's material, her video, off your list of what to study. But honestly, Amber King's video is a great summary of the shopper's journey. So I'd encourage you to still look at that. So if we look at, let me go through the personal branding and get down to the shopper's journey. This will be a brief overview, but basically what we said in class is that Mars really framed this up. They said that they believe understanding how the shopper first thinks of buying something all the way through to taking a product home and using it and disposing of it is all part of shopper marketing. And so we talked specifically about how I was uncomfortable the first time I was going to cover this article because it's so weird in the words that they use. Like, look at this definition. It says his or her emotional pulse points in sync. I mean, it's a little like how Doug Holt writes. Why can't they just write in straightforward ways and not these kind of slightly goofy ways? But then the advisory board member who gave this to me, Wes Walker, said, he was at Mars at the time, and he said, this really does make sense. And he came to class and he walked my students through the example that I'm going to show you. So if you recall in class, I said, think about how you buy toothpaste when you decide you're going to need it. And we walked through the class and we had a full range. Everything from I buy toothpaste when I have absolutely not one bit left in my tube of toothpaste, and I've been using my roommate's for a week or so, and my roommate's mad. At the other extreme, you might have pantry loaders like me, where I have toothpaste in the bathroom, but I also have toothpaste in a storage area so that I'm never out. I buy toothpaste when my pantry, my storage area is out. So we have kind of those two extremes. So with that in mind and thinking about when you buy toothpaste, we walked through the 7 steps in the shopper's journey and how they each apply to something as basic as buying toothpaste. So if we look at this first one, the awakening um, means that you are first aware of needing toothpaste, that it's maybe just floating to the top of your mind, but you're not actually taking a step on it. So for some people, this might be when you see your toothbrush in the morning and you look at it and think, I don't have any toothpaste. Or it might be seeing this empty tube. And that's the first thought process. If you are uncertain about any of these steps, I'd encourage you to go back to the Shopper's Journey article and look for these squares. There's one written on each one, and it talks specifically about what is in each step. So the toothpaste is just the application of what those squares say. So the awakening is the first time it trickles through and you even think about buying it. Your awakening, again, might be at that last minute. And my awakening might be if I just see a tube of toothpaste and it reminds me to look to make sure that I've got plenty. So um, the next step is the call. The call is when you actually begin taking action. In fact, the call is short for the call to action. And what we talked about in class is that this might be seeing a coupon or an advertisement or a tube of toothpaste, but it could even be seeing something that's totally unrelated. And the example is the one that's up on the screen, how there was a mom who said to her middle school daughter, squeeze out all the toothpaste and now put it back in. The daughter, of course, could not put it back in. And the mom said, as you head out the door to middle school, remember that the words that you lay out there are not words that you can get back in. And you're starting the beginning of your reputation. And so use your words carefully about other people. Even though that had nothing to do with selling toothpaste, people saw this and it was widely shared. Toothpaste companies shared it, organizations about anti-bullying shared it, parent teacher groups shared it, teachers shared it, and seeing the toothpaste may have served as a reminder that you need toothpaste, even though that's unrelated to the original message. Okay, the next stage is the crossing. The crossing, if you read the definition, includes everything that leads you up to making the decision to go in store. So it could be making a list, and that list could be on an index card, on your hand, on a piece of paper, on your phone, or maybe you aren't a list maker. Maybe you skip things. I sometimes shop by acronyms. I don't want to make a list, but I'll think to myself, I need milk, eggs, and bread. And so I make a word out of M, E, and B to remind myself when I walk in the store. Of course, you're smarter than me. You probably don't need these triggers, but there's anything that is a list is part of this crossing. The list can vary depending on who's doing the shopping. So if I'm shopping for myself, I can write down something basic like butter. But if I'm asking my husband to go to the store, I might say, I want unsalted butter that comes in the rectangles, not a tub of butter. So, and I might even put a brand name down that's a preference of mine. So lists can vary depending on who it is doing the shopping. And then also just the array of stores we have to choose from. We have all of these stores that are listed on the screen, and that's all part of the crossing is making that decision. If you are making a quick trip, to go back to the trip types we talked about a minute ago, you probably have to take Amazon off the list. You're not going to get an Amazon delivery in most places in the time that you need it for a quick trip. I guess they have some exceptions to that, but for the most part. And so if it's a quick trip, you may be just running in Come and Go to get toothpaste or running in a Walmart neighborhood market. Okay, so crossing takes you right up into the store, the decision on the store. The path is setting foot in the store. Paco Underhill would say it's approaching the store, deciding where to park, walking into the store, and then turning left or right. Are you boomeranging through aisles? Is it a grab and go? The path is how you navigate in the store. The next step is the reckoning. Now, Wes Walker pointed out that this is the reckoning. It's all nice and neat. Everything's on shelf. Nothing's out of stock. The aisles are clear, easy to shop. I think that, these are other pictures that he shared from that time, thoughtful consideration of products. Look at the happy family in the bottom right corner with their vegetables and their fruit and the kids helping their mom. I think probably your experience is closer to mine, where this is what the reckoning looks like. Aisles are full, shelves are empty, kids are screaming, they're tugging on parents, and it's all kind of in your way. So the reckoning is not always orderly, but it's when you're standing at shelf and making these decisions. Paco Underhill gave us the funny term called butt brush, where he said, we'll stand at shelf longer if we have wide open shelves like this. But the minute we've got people crowding us and bumping up against us, we tend to leave. And that's probably less product that's going to be in our basket. Okay, the sixth step is the prize. So that's everything that happens at that checkout. It's impulse buying, paying for things, how you're paying for them, whether you had a cart, a basket, or things in your hand, whether you use your own bags to sack things up, or if you're at a store where you're expected to sack your own. It's all of those things. That's the prize. And then last is the homecoming. They define the homecoming as taking your product home and using it. P&G specifically says they want you to use the product and be delighted. They recognize that you're paying a premium for P&G products. And so A.G. Lafley said the homecoming for them is that you're delighted and you advocate for them. So those are the 7 steps of the shopper's journey: awakening, call, crossing, path, reckoning, prize, homecoming. And that is one of the first of the ways that companies looked at the shopper's journey. So I don't see any additional questions coming in. If you have anything, just shoot me a remind text. If it's something major that the whole class needs to know, then I'll just put that up on Blackboard in the folder that says information about test number 2. I hope y'all are having a great day. Don't forget to turn tomorrow's survey in, Friday's survey. Double check your grades. Friday at 5 is the deadline for that. And I would so appreciate you taking the time to do the student evaluations. That means more to me than you would guess. I will see you all virtually on Tuesday. Bye.